Hello and welcome back to Vlogtober day 15. Hopefully the audio is a little bit better on this one. I'm still experimenting with my mic. Today we are doing a declutter of all my clothes postpartum. So you'll see an extra set of hands here. I had one of my sisters helping me out today going through all the clothes. So these are all the clothes that I have both in storage and that were out. And I'm trying to go through and figure out what is not for this season, so it's not nursing friendly, or literally not for this season. It's, beach wear, which in northern Michigan we are done with for the year. Or it's stuff that I will just need to fit in again. So if it's something that I'm going to likely fit in, hopefully in the next several months, then that went in a separate tote. I had a tote of stuff that just wasn't nursing friendly or was summer stuff. I got packed up in a separate tote, and then I had stuff that was going currently into the closet and giveaway. So some of the giveaway stuff I'm going to sell, some I'm going to pass down to family. I will go through and see. Before recording this, I forgot to add up how many items there were that I got rid of, but I have 2 trash bags full. When I was sorting through, I also had a bin of stuff that I had to try on. That was a lot of stuff. But I have since tried that on and ended up decluttering a lot of it because it is just not flattering. I am struggling a bit more this postpartum with my body, both in having clothes that fit it and also with how I feel about my body. I am very, very thankful that my body has carried 5 healthy baby girls into this world, has so far been able to nurse them just fine, and for that I'm very, very grateful. However, this last 2 pregnancies have certainly taken a toll on my body, and part of that has been a lot of weight gain. I, at the end of this pregnancy, weighed almost twice as much, just shy of twice as much as I did at the beginning of my first pregnancy. Now, I don't think, other than maybe in my 80s, I will ever get back to the weight and size I was during my first pregnancy. The size I am right now is definitely not sustainable. And I know I am just newly postpartum. However, I know from experience that my body does not naturally shed the weight like some people do. So, although I will slim down some from the size I am currently, just naturally, the rest will take a lot of hard work. I am both excited about that prospect, about putting the work in and getting my body to be healthier and, rehab my core and all that. But also kind of terrified at the thought of trying to lose all this weight. I have 50 to 60 pounds that I want to lose. For me, it's not terribly about the weight. Like, if I put on a bunch of muscle, that's great. It's not so much about a number on the scale. It's about how my body looks and feels. But I'm just struggling mentally a bit more this postpartum than I have in the past. And I'm not entirely sure why. I'm not entirely sure if it is just the fact that my body put on a bunch of extra weight this last 2 times, or if it's just the fact that this last pregnancy just was very, very emotional for me. For no apparent reason, I struggled with mood swings way more than I usually do. Side note, you'll see me throwing some clothes over here in the corner of the room. Those are clothes that needed to be altered or mended in some way. So the 2 dresses that are in the corner, they need to be made into, I need to put a modesty panel in for nursing. And there's some stuff that has holes that needs to be mended. For those of you who've had multiple pregnancies and didn't just automatically lose the weight and shrink back down, I would love to hear what you did to get into a more healthy size and shape. What did you find most effective and all that stuff. I definitely could use the tips because I'm just struggling a bit this time around. And part of it for me is having clothes that fit. I thought I would fit into a lot more of these clothes than I did. And I think having clothes that fit you and you look good in, at least according to how you think, is important for everyone. But as someone who loves fashion, it's especially important to me. Like, having an outfit I feel confident in greatly changes how I feel about myself. Like, almost embarrassingly so. So that's why I'm really struggling with being like, a lot of the clothes are just too tight. I mean, I just did the video about modesty, and I've been wearing clothes that are skin tight because that's what I have, and I don't really want to invest in clothes, especially this newly postpartum, because hopefully, you know, I will slim down at least the initial bit fairly quickly here. But we'll see. I'm going to be doing some sewing. Hopefully some of the next videos you see will be some sewing videos, assuming the projects go well, which should help. I had bought a new pair of pants, which I was very excited about. They were a size bigger than my biggest size of pants. I have, like, I think now 5 sizes of pants, and they were still drastically too small. Not just like could maybe get them on, no, we're talking like 5-inch gap across the belly, and that was honestly a bit disheartening. I was really hoping that they would be really close to fitting, if not fit, but that is not the case. So they got packed up for me to shrink into, and I am going to do some skirts sewing and hopefully some dresses sewing if I can get some fabric. I don't have enough fabric right now to sew any dresses, but I do have enough to sew some skirts, so I'm going to get that done and go from there. For those of you who've gone through this before, who have struggled with body image postpartum, I would love to hear, besides, you know, the obvious like losing weight and getting more fit, what really helped you mentally through that, what things made a big difference, what things did not help. I know comparison does not help. For me, it's not so much like people I see online or something like that, or even this ideal. It's people I have in my real life that I have seen them have babies, sometimes within weeks or months of me, and then it can be really hard. This dress that you see right here, this is one, the blue dress, that I really have to debate about. I still haven't figured out exactly what I want to do. It's a dress that I bought off of Etsy. It's any size dress if you've been on Etsy. I like the dress. For the first bit I wore it was great, and then I had a bunch of gaping issues at the bust. So now I need to figure out what I'm going to do. Am I going to try to fix the gaping issues? Am I going to cut off the stop and just have a skirt? Or am I going to get rid of it? It's one of the most expensive pieces of clothing I've ever got, so I don't really want to get rid of it, but I don't know. I also enjoy the faces I make as I'm trying to put on a shoe that's a little bit tight. My feet have a tendency to grow during pregnancy, which I do not appreciate. Also, can you tell that I have a color palette I like? Yeah, blue is my favorite color. My house is blue. I'm going to show you the DIY I did on that dress, but back to the color thing. I painted my downstairs blue. My comforter right now is blue, and probably 75% of my clothes are blue. Maybe not quite that high, well over half, and the rest are in another neutral of like gray or black for the most part, and then I have some pink. So yeah, I really like blue. I find it to be a flattering color on me, and I have it in many, many shades. It was so nice having someone to chat to while doing this project. But of course there was lots of children interrupting. That's why I didn't leave the audio from the original video in, because I swear anytime the house is quiet and I go to do some sort of recording project, that is when all the children need me and need to talk. But I am so glad we got this done. Through this, I learned that I had a bunch of tops and not really any bottoms, and a couple dresses and some mending and sewing to do. Thank you for joining me today. Well, I decluttered all of my clothes and get rid of 2 full garbage bags full. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow for another video. God bless. Bye.